Testing, there we go. Hello and welcome guys to the stream, hope everyone's doing well. Today we're going to be doing some Kyalami practice at Kyalami practice in the Corsa, and this is currently we're in the server for RCI to do the pre-qualifying for the 6-hour endurance series. Which we have till March 3rd, but I just wanted to get it kind of done quite early basically. So we're just going to go out, see what we can do. I did some last night, I think it was, and I was around the, I think I was 140.6 or 140.5, I'm not sure. But for pre-quali it's 5 laps. So you've got to go out the garage. They don't have to be consecutive, you just have to do 5 laps that are valid before you come back in again. So we're just going to be doing some of that today, and then maybe go into some Kyalami lobbies or some other open lobbies, just get some practice and see how we get on. But yeah. Hello Domenico, how are you doing, mate? Thanks for stopping by the stream. RCI pre-quali. So what I've done is I've done 7 laps of fuel. So I have my out lap, and then even if I invalidate 1 lap, I can still keep going, and the stint will still count. But yeah, let's go out, do a few. We've got nearly 3 hours left of this session, so we don't have to worry about that. And like I say, we're basically aiming for mid 140s. And this morning I was doing that at the end of the stint, hitting the mid 140s, but because it's a 5-lap stint for pre-quali, you want to be hitting mid 140s consistently. So definitely need to get some practice in to make sure we're consistent. I'm in a bit of lag in this server, to be honest. Ping's nearly 100 there, quite high ping. And also I've started work on the stream intro, the 5-minute stream intro. But it will take a while because there is so many clips and stuff that I can get. So I need to get a bunch of clips, and then I'll spend a good few hours editing everything. Hello the only G, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by the stream. How are you doing? We're just doing some pre-quali for RCI just now, so we've got to do 5-lap stints. They don't have to be consecutive, you just can't come back into the garage until you've done 5 valid laps for it to count. We were doing 140 mids earlier today, yesterday, so just need to get them consistently. Good to hear. Yeah, all good to hear. Just practicing as much as we can for RCI. I think we've got till March 3rd, but because of the other leaks and things I've got, during the week I don't have much time to practice for this, but on the weekend I usually have some spare time, so I thought may as well get it done early. The only thing is, a lot of the top teams don't do pre-quali till like the final week, so it's hard to tell where we stand in comparison to the other teams, so we'll just have to see how we get on. But I think if we finish, I think it's the top 50 our pro split, so as long as we can get top 50, that'll be good. You've been up to much today, the only G? Or anyone else in the chat? Anyone been up to much this morning? I just got in from doing a bit of car cleaning, tidied up the house a bit, and then just gave my dad's car a clean. The only thing is it's black, so I kind of want to polish it before we get to summer, because it'll look really good with the polish. It doesn't look that great if you just wash it. Right, now that was an extremely slow lap, 41.8. But we'll do a few others and get some quick laps in if we can. This corner, when I was doing it last night, I kept turning in far too early for that left-hander. Has anyone seen any of the Rensport streams this weekend? Because I think round 2's today, or happening right now. I'm not sure if they're finished or not. But round 1 was yesterday. I saw the results, but I didn't actually get a chance to watch it live because I was out and about, and I think, yeah, I was on 4G, and I just had no phone signal, and I couldn't actually watch it, which was a bit of a pain. So I'll have to go back and watch the replay today. But the results were quite interesting, so can't wait for Rensport to actually come out so we can all download it, try it out, see what it's like. Really hoping that they do a good job with it. Right, well, that still wasn't that great a lap, but that was definitely quicker. Ideally, by the time we get to March 3rd, I really want to be high 39s for qualifying pace. Low 140s for 5 lap stint, and for actual quali, I really want to be high 39s by the time we get to March 3rd. So I need to do quite a bit of practicing. That right-hander was really bad. Yeah, that was not very good first 2 sectors there at all. I'll do this stint and then we'll get some fresh tyres and go out again. Got about 3 laps left. Car does feel really good, even though this stint is very slow. Car still feels quite good. Is a bit oversteery on the brakes sometimes if you lift the brakes off too quickly, because as you see we're running 45% brake bias, but we have minimum rear diff, so kind of balances itself out, but the rotation you get on the braking is really nice with the setup. This setup is based off of Trevor Wenham's setup that he's got on Popometer. I've just adjusted it slightly for my own use, but the most of the setup is just how it is on Popometer. I think he did a 39.3 hot lap with this, so we would definitely like to at least get to the high 39s for qualifying by the time we get to the first round of RCI, because we'll also be at Kyalami for the first round. 6-hour race, limited tyre sets. I think we've got 4 tyre sets for the race, which is not a lot at all, especially for a 6-hour race, so some strategy will come into play, unless it's a wet race, in which case it won't matter too much. If like it's wet for 2 hours, then we can just use the wet tyres for then. save the dries, but it'll be interesting to see what the tyre wear is like over the stint. There is, I think, there's 4 sets of tyres in 6 hours, so basically we really want 6 sets of tyres, or 5. So we're just gonna have to see what the tyre wear is like over the course of the stints, and just try and be as careful on the tyres as we can, but hopefully it's wet for a big portion of the race and then we don't have to worry as much. There's not enough Scottish streamers. Thanks for joining the stream, JYH. How are you doing? I would agree though, we need some more Scottish streamers, don't we? I'm gonna assume that was a compliment. There was was it Monday? Yeah, it was Monday this week. One of the SOP commentators gave us a shout out for the channel, and he was like, and Cody Cosford's got a Scottish accent on his streams. It was quite funny. Luciano, that was on the race room race. Luciano got the win on Monday. But I had, my router died just before the race started, after quali. Router died and disconnected from the race, which was a bit annoying. I think the next round is not next week, but the week after, because they have a 1 week break. Not bad, good to hear. Yourself? Yeah, all good here, thanks. Has to be a compliment. I'm Scottish as well. Us Scots have to stick together. What part of Scotland are you from? Oh dear, oh dear. Messed up there on the brakes. Do you have enough fuel for an all lap? Oh, nice. I was originally from Glenrothes, and now I'm in kind of on the border almost of Angus and Aberdeenshire. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's Aberdeenshire, but close to Angus. It's like kind of near the border, so I'm not sure where the actual border is, but between Angus and Aberdeenshire, basically. Scotland's quite good, except the weather. The weather's usually rubbish, although yesterday we got some really nice weather here. It's probably the best weather we've had all year yet. I work up that way quite a lot. Oh, nice. Right, let's put some knee tires on, because that was a very, very, very slow stint. I need to be 140s. That just was not a very good stint there. It's quite nice, the overlay we're using now, not the overlay, sorry, the HUD we got from Future Element, which you can see in the top corners. That has been quite helpful. Although I need to sort the damage one, because the damage one didn't work yesterday, so I must have turned it off when I was, because I couldn't see it on the game, so I must have turned off the always on top. So I think it was showing underneath the game, so I just need to sort that so that the damage shows. But having the fuel calculations on the top right is really good. But also the lap times on the top left, because it's got the potential lap time, that's also really handy, especially for qualifying sessions like Friday when we had the sim zone. I was able to check what my actual potential lap time was, which was kind of depressing because I was miles off it. But it's handy to know how much time you've got in the lap without having to go back to the garage and look at your 3 best sectors. Right, let's try another stint here and let's try not mess it up as much as I did the last one. So what is it that you do for work then, JYH? Oh, that was a much better turn 1. Could have actually used a bit more track on the outside though. It was still a little bit slow. Maybe scrubbed off a bit too much speed in the braking. I was a little bit wide, but it's actually faster just to use that tiny bit of grass, nearly half a second up there. And that right-hander was terrible. Not enough speed. Okay, that was a bit better. Half second. That was much better first and second sector. Just need to get the final sector a bit better. It was just that long sweeping right-hander. Turn 4 I think it was. That I lost like a 1/10 of a second. That was bad. Oh! Completely messed that up all on my own. Too much speed when I got on the throttle there. Just completely understeered it off the track. Still got enough for another 5 laps. But yeah, that was annoying. Oh, oversteered that on the brakes. And didn't quite use enough track there. Might still gain time on this lap actually because we're only 500s down. Really need to get that right-hander better because I keep messing the turn 4 up there. I'm not necessarily losing time every time I do it, it's just I think I could be a bit quicker through turn 4. The car doesn't feel on the limit at all. Whereas like going through the S section on turns 6 and 7 I think, the car you can feel is a lot more on the limit. Brake too early there. Better than going miles wide fast lap though. Oh, too aggressive on the throttle there. Losing time everywhere. Right, let's try to get this turn 1 a bit better. Oh, too wide. When we actually find the pace and we get consistent 140 mids, then we need to restart if we invalidate more than one lap, because we have to get 5 valid laps in one stint. Either that or we add like an extra 3 or 6 litres of fuel, so it doesn't matter if we invalidate 2 or 3 laps, the stint's still valid. Don't think an extra 6 or 3 litres of fuel will really affect the pace. Will affect it a little bit, but not really noticeable. Oh, tried to take that in third there. I think I messed it up on the brakes though. Would like to try taking the right-hander in third though. Just adjust the line a bit. Because the Porsche seems to be able to take some of the corners at a slightly higher, or 1 gear higher than other cars on some corners. Especially like Spa, for example, going up the hill at Radion. You can actually turn it into 6th gear just when you hit the curb at Luge, so that when you actually get to the top of Radion, you're in 6th gear already, but you still have, I think, 2 rev lights on. Whereas most other cars, if you put it into 6th gear before you got to the top of Radion, then you would just lose time because you wouldn't have high enough revs. So I just need to see what's the best gear to use for some of these corners. Because I think some of them I'm dropping to too low a gear. Oh, I messed up. Too late on the brakes there. Up on the delta still, but I think I lost like 2/10 in that corner there. Just far too late on the brakes. Nah, third slower there. The revs are too low to accelerate in third gear. Out of that one, definitely better to go into 2nd gear. Right, let's try. Got enough fuel for 2 more laps. Potentials of 40.8. So about 2 or 3 tenths slower than what I was last night. That felt better, but that was way slower. Oh, that was completely my fault there. That's just wrecked the tires. What did I actually do there? I think I lost it coming off the brakes. No, it's on. What did I do there? I think it was maybe how I came off the brakes. I maybe turned in a bit too abruptly as well. That was a weird one. Right, let's go out again. Like I say, potentials of 40.8. So if we can actually get a good lap together, I think we could get a mid 140. But the problem is with pre-quali is it needs to be consistent, so we can do it over the 5 laps. It doesn't matter if we can only do 140 right at the end of the stint, because then the average lap time is still slow. So we need to get a bit more consistent and a bit quicker. What would you say are the best cars right now? It's a tricky one, to be honest. It kind of depends on the calendar for the championship, but like overall, the Hondas are really good just now. The Porsches are good. BMWs are good at a lot of tracks. Competitive at others, and some tracks they're not great at, but BMW is still a good choice. Audi is a very good choice. It's quite competitive at most tracks. I don't think it's necessarily OP at any tracks, but is very competitive, the Audi. The Ferrari seems a popular choice for a lot. I've got no experience in the Ferrari, so I can't really say if it's how good it is. I know it is competitive at a decent amount of tracks, but I personally have never tried it. And also I think after the last update, the Aston Martin got a buff, so the Aston Martin is also good. It's also, the Aston Martin's a good choice if you're starting out, because it's got very low torque, so it's easy to drive, but it is quite quick at the moment as well, so it honestly just depends on what feels best for you, because at the end of the day, the fastest car in the game might not be fastest for you. You might be able to drive another car faster. But yeah, just my best advice is to just try a few different cars out. But I would definitely recommend like the Porsche, the Audi, the Honda, and the BMW. And like I say, you could try the ones like the Ferrari and the Aston, but I don't really have much experience in those two cars, so I can't really comment on them. I've never tried the Honda personally, but I've seen a lot of people use it, and it's very good at a lot of the tracks. I haven't really seen a track where it's been really bad at. There's definitely tracks it's not as competitive, like Donington. The Honda wasn't quite as competitive. It was a bit slower compared to the Porsche, but like at Watkins Glen, for example, the Hondas were all really quick. So yeah, it just depends. And they all have their different strengths and weaknesses as well. So like Porsche is really good at rotation on the brakes, and good rotation on the exits of corners, and good acceleration and things like that, but it doesn't have a very good top speed. The Aston's got a bit less torque, so it's not good at rotating at the slower corners like the Porsche, but then it's got a good top speed and it's very stable. So over a long race, it's really nice to drive. Honda, I'm not really sure how it is in the corners, but Honda is really fast on the straight. And then you've got the BMW, which is fairly stable, but very competitive. So yeah, just every car's good at different things, really. Oh, just a bit too much grass there. Did gain a bit of time. You can use the grass, a little bit of the grass, but if you use a bit too much, it does validate it, which is annoying. Not actually sure if it is grass or if it's gravel over the other side of the curb. I know most of it's grass, but I'm not sure if they put a bit of gravel before the grass. Yeah, there's 2 tenths in that hairpin there, because I completely binned it on my other flying lap. Just outbraked myself completely. that final corner a bit better. So that was a 140.9? Yeah, 0.9. But it wasn't valid because of turn 3. Probably should have stayed in third there, but I think got the power down early enough so it wasn't actually much slower. That right-hander again, a bit slow. Could have used a bit more of the track on the exit, and that was a bit too much on the exit there. Okay, neck and neck on the delta. Actually gained 3/10 on that hairpin that time. About 4/10 up there. That right-hander scares me so much, especially in an endurance race. I'm gonna have to pass that a few hundred times without clipping it. Okay, 6/10 up, so that's 0.7. Ideally, I would like to get to at least a 0.5 or lower. Certainly by qualifying day, which, like I say, we have about 3 weeks until March 3rd, so about 3 weeks. So we've got plenty of time, but by then I ideally would like to be in the 39s for qualifying pace, at least a high or a mid 39, which I think will be possible considering the amount of time we have to practice. But for a stint, because we've got to do a 5-lap stint, I'd like to at least be a low 40 for the stints, and then we just try and get that consistent. We really need that consistency. Like I say, we've got plenty of time. It's just during the week that I like to focus on the leagues and LFM, so it's great to get a bit of practice in on the weekends for this. Probably next weekend I'll start actually building the race setup, because I want that done early so I can, so the team can focus on just driving the car. Don't have to worry about improving the setup the night before the race. We can just focus on getting our pace better, and then if the setup's done early, we can do that. Obviously, when you get closer to the race and you've had time to experiment with the setup and practice it, then you will make a few improvements on like race week, but you want to get the bulk of the setup done as early as possible. There's a bit of time because we won't go too wide, and we used a bit more track on the right-hander as well. That S section wasn't too bad. Try not to outbrake ourselves at the hairpin. I think that was a little bit later on the brakes. Did lose about half a tenth on that hairpin, just a little bit too late on the brakes. Just didn't quite have the speed at the apex that we should have had. I think I need to turn in for that right-hander a bit later. Turning in a bit too early, so not got the apex speed. I think if I turned in later I might be able to carry more speed. So yeah, lost a bit of time that lap. Potential of 0.6 still. Set a green sector 2 there, but just lost it all in sector 3. Oh, lap invalid. Just get off track there because there's someone coming behind us. Right, new set of tires. We can try going out again, and let's just have a look at the times table. So our best lap, we lost about just over a tenth in the middle sector, which is where that sweeping right-hander is, and also this right-hander because we messed up both those two corners. So yeah, but compare our best sectors to that Honda, and we are faster in the final two, but he's nearly a tenth quicker than me in the first sector. So need to improve the first sector. That could be the straight line speed that the Honda has, because the Honda is quicker in a straight line, so it could be that he's gaining time on the straight. It's very possible. Or and there's also this part of the straight, so it could be that the Honda's just quicker on the straight, or it could be that he's braking a bit later for turn 1, because there's only 3 corners in sector 1, so he's either pushing a bit harder in the corners or he's just gaining the advantage on the straight. There you go. Oh, that was unlucky. Easy to do that there. Very easy to mess up that left-hander. I say it's turn 3, but I think technically it's turn 4, because on the home straight you have the slight bend. It's not really a corner, but it's a slight bend, and some data packages and stuff will count that as turn 1. So the actual first braking zone is turn 2, which is weird. But it is technically a corner because it's got a slight bend to it. But yeah, numbering the corners is quite confusing if you count that as a corner or not on the home straight. Right, let's see what we can do on this stint. Try get it a bit better. If we can do consistent 140 mids to highs, that would be quite good. And as the fuel level drops, if we can get a 140 like 0.5 or lower, then that would be really nice as well. Okay, decent exit out the final corner to start the lap off with. About 2 thousandths up on our delta there. Shifted into 5th gear a bit early, I think, because I lost that 1,000th of a second. Okay, not a great exit out of turn 1. Took a bit too much curb there, the car got unsettled. Or I just put the power down before the car had recovered from the curb. And I messed up that right-hander as well. Still valid, but just 2 tenths down there, so quite slow. Okay, gained a bit of time on the S section there, and that was too late at the hairpin. Yep, lost about 2 or 3 tenths there. That was not very good. Right, try turning in. Oh, turned in too late there. Need to try turning in a bit later for that because I'm not carrying enough speed through there. And just a bit too aggressive on the power there. How is the next lap invalidated? Must have been because I gained a bit of straight line speed on the exit of the final corner, but that seems... I'm not up on my delta on the straight afterwards, so I don't know why it's validated that. That's annoying. About neck and neck on the delta in the first sector. Unfortunately, this lap is invalid though because of that final corner. That left-hander was a bit better. About 2/10 up. This would have been a 0.5. Can't believe it invalidated it. Okay, I lost a little bit of time in the middle sector. But that was still, sorry, in the hairpin, but that was still a good middle sector. Just didn't quite nail the hairpin. Still there, I think I'm turning in just a little bit early. And that was rubbish. Okay, so at least we know we've got a decent amount of time in the lap, we just need to get it together. So I think a 0.5 is possible if we get the lap nice and tidy. Because we gain time in like that, the middle sector, and then we lose it in the final sector, so we just need to be a bit more consistent. And that's why I'm practicing so early, because we need really good consistency with it being an endurance race. And also for the pre-qualifying stints, we want to be as consistent as we can be. Messed up that right-hander a bit. Still neck and neck on the delta, but I think I lost a bit of time. Short shifted into third there. I think that cost me a bit. Nice exit out with that right-hander though. 10th of a second up. And slow in the hairpin again. By about yeah, nearly a 10th of a second. That seems like a better apex there. Seem to be able to carry just a little bit more speed and get the power down a bit earlier, but went too wide on that right-hander. Okay, so yeah, I really need to work on that hairpin because I'm consistently not doing it right. I think it's mainly the braking point that I'm not very consistent with the braking point there, so I need to get that braking point a bit better. Oh dear. That's a very common place to bin it in the race, that left-hander. See a lot of cars spin there. Okay, bit wide, bit wide. So again, stall up on the delta. Okay, that was... I think the braking point was alright. I maybe need to just lift off the brakes a bit earlier. Maybe just not getting on the power early enough. because there's quite a long straight after the hairpin. So maybe just need to get on that throttle a bit earlier. Two laps left of fuel. Holy... I messed up. That was a little bit slower, lost a little bit of time. Bend that. Felt the grip starting to go. I just checked to see, I thought I got a Discord notification, and when you press on Discord it shows your friends list, and someone's just updated their bio to "My profile picture isn't glitched, I just can't think of one." That's quite good. Also, there's another one that I've got here that says his bio is "We don't pray for love, we just pray for cars." You can get really imaginative with your bios on Discord. Right, let's go out again. Like I say, we've got quite a bit of pace in the lap, we just need to be a lot more consistent, really. Has anyone in the chat got any races or anything like that coming up? Or any events? I think we've got Logitech G Challenge in a week or two, I think. What day is today? 11th? I think first round is the 21st or something. So we've got Logitech G Challenge, then we've got so we've got, I think, 3 rounds left of the SimZone Championship, and then we have I'm not sure how many rounds left of the Race Room Touring Car Championship. Pardon me. Oh, kicked it completely on my own. Okay, must have been a decent exit out of the final corner there, gained a few thousandths. And invalid immediately.
He's trying to stay on the track.
Just maybe a bit late on the brakes and then too early on the throttle. Turn 1. So sector 1 was pretty rubbish there. And just, yeah, that right hander was not good at all. As soon as I tapped the brakes I just immediately felt the car unsettle. So just didn't turn in, because otherwise I think I would have just binned it completely. Right, let's push on the next lap because that was very, very, very slow. Used a bit too much curb in turn 1, I think, there. Nice bit of slip angle, just didn't get a very fast exit out of there. 2 tenths down again. That right hander was a bit better. So was the left. Try and get this exit S section. Nice. And I completely messed up. Bit of a rubbish exit there again out of the hairpin. You can see where the delta is. I just really need to get a bit more consistency, because I see the delta go up and then I just lose it in the next section. Oh, messed that up. Actually got a decent exit though, but I messed up the brakes a bit. Yeah, that must have been quite a good exit. I'm 100th, nearly 200ths up as by the end of the straight. Bit less curb, almost no curb at turn 1 there. Oh, invalid. It's about a 10th up there as well, just a little bit of understeer, maybe just too early on the throttle. Still got the delta, even though it's an invalid lap. So it's good to see where there's lap time available. Yeah, there's like a 10th in that S section, at least a 10th of a second. Oh, too aggressive on the throttle there, lost the rear. Let's just see what kind of lap time we can get now. We've got 3 laps of fuel left. So this is kind of qualifying fuel load now, but obviously the tyres have been used for a few laps. But by the time we get to race day, if I do quali, I would need to be at least high 39, I think, in these conditions. In lower track conditions, then obviously faster times and higher temps than slower times. But in these current temps, I think I would need to be high 39s to do quali. Oh, too deep, too deep. And lost a bit of grip there. Seems to definitely get more slidey by the end of the stint, to be honest. You can feel the tyres start to slightly drop off. So I think for doing an actual stint, once we find some more pace and I try and actually do the 5 lap stints, really need to focus on the start of the stint, getting those laps quick, because as soon as the tires slightly drop off, then you don't want the average lap time to go down, and because it's an average of your 5 laps in one stint. If you have, let's say you get 4 laps that are all a 140.6, and then you get 1 lap that's a 141.1, then that's going to bring your average down. So yeah, it's just really needs to be the consistency. Really need to work on that consistency. Let's have a look at the sectors though. Again, first sector, need to find some time. Yeah, first sector is still where that Honda's quicker. And like I say, I'm not sure if that is if the Honda's gaining time on the corners in sector 1, or if he is actually quicker on just on the straight, because this section here is kind of where the Honda's advantage would be, because the Porsche's, in my opinion, has better acceleration, but the Honda's definitely got the best top speed. So at the end of the straight, that's probably where the Honda's maybe gaining a bit of time, but I'm not sure if also they're pushing the car a bit more in the corners than I am, because they definitely gain like a 1/10 in the first sector. So they're either quicker in the corner or it's just on the straight. Oh, as I said, very commonplace to bin it into the wall there. We were very lucky that we didn't go into the wall in that other lap. I think it depends how much grass you take and how early you spot it. If you realise you're going to go wide very early, then you can kind of lift off the throttle and just roll in the grass. Whereas if you stay on the power and then you go on the grass, then it's very hard to save it. You kind of get a point where it's no longer possible to save the car and you just got to hold the brakes. The only thing with the Porsche, with the brakes being so good, is it's hard to follow other cars, because you brake at your normal braking point and there's a very high chance you end up going into the back of someone because they just brake so much earlier. It's not all tracks and all corners, but there's been a few times when I've been driving the Porsche and someone's over the course of a lap is similar pace to me, but in the braking zones the Porsche just gains quite a bit of time. So that makes it a bit tricky when you're trying to follow, but it's fantastic for overtakes because you can send it so late into the braking and still make the apex. Just a bit too aggressive on the power there. It's going to cost me about a 1/10 of a second. And just messed up that left-hander a bit. Too much curb, too late on the throttle. So slow first sector. Seems to be that, the first stint, the first lap of each stint seems to always be slower. And I think it might be that the tyres aren't quite up to pressure, or it's just my driving on the first lap. It might just be my driving, but I think it might also be the fact that the tyres aren't quite up to pressure on the first lap. Because the second, third, fourth, fifth, they all seem to be much quicker than the first one. Also with this championship that's starting in March, the RCI, there's no BOP. So there's BOP for the esports version, but there isn't BOP for the regular one, which we're just doing the regular one. Hopefully do the esports one next time. But we just need a little bit more pace. So over the next few months we're really trying to improve our pace a bit. The hot laps are definitely helping improve my pace, I would say. because just practicing one car, one track, building the setup from scratch, and trying to get really good lap time has definitely helped my pace a bit, but I still need to find quite a bit of pace. That first sector was a bit rubbish again there. Too early on the throttle on the turn 4 there, far too early. Wanted to try push with putting the power down a bit earlier, but that was not very good. Potential still 0.6. We did get a 0.5 in the delta, but because that lap wasn't valid, or the sector wasn't, I'm not sure if I actually got the full sector as a 0.5, or if I think that was the one it went down to like a 0.5 here, and then I messed it up in the hairpin. So I think we could definitely do a 0.5 with some more practice. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is just the consistency. Need to get some better consistency. Right. Well, I think I'll do... I was going to do some open lobbies, but I've just realised the time, and I think I'm going to go get my tea. Because I'm actually starving. Let me also change this race elements, because okay, so that's why the damage wasn't showing yesterday for the race on the HUD, because I had turned off the always on top. So it was just showing underneath the game, because I was like, the window's open, but I never saw how much damage I had. So that explains it then. Right, I'm not sure. Maybe we could do a few Kyalami open lobbies tonight. But I'm going to go get my tea, and then I'll be back, and maybe we could do some Kyalami open lobbies if anyone wants to join us. Get some Kyalami practice in. But yeah, happy with the pace just now. Just what's in the delta like that. If we can get 0.5s and lower, then that would be good. But I just really need to work on getting the consistency. That's the biggest thing just now. But as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you